So I wanted to share my 5 favorite tools or applications for Mac that I pretty much use every single day. And it doesn't really matter which programming language I'm working with, they're pretty agnostic to that. So the first one is Alfred 3. So this is an application launcher. So I have it bound to a hotkey and I can just press it and then I can type in the thing that I want to launch. So Visual Studio Code, and it's going to launch the application for me. So that's like the base of it, but it also does so much more, and it has a ton of features built into it. Another thing that I really like about it, that I personally use a lot, although it is pretty simple, is just a calculator. So I can just start typing in things, and I'll commonly use this to calculate how many pixels something is, and I'll just hit enter, and it'll copy it to my clipboard, and I can paste it in. So it's kind of similar to Spotlight, but it's pretty much a better version of Spotlight for Mac if you're aware of what this is. And it has just way more capabilities. The other one is I'll commonly do Google searches from this. So how old am I? We'll search that in Google, and we can just pop open a tab really quickly. And the other thing is, I haven't actually tried this out yet, is this Power Pack version, but I know a lot of people that really like it. Or basically you can start programming different workflows and automating some tasks that you can execute through Alfred. So it is a really nice utility. Definitely recommend checking it out if you want to upgrade your Spotlight. So if you're really enjoying Spotlight, it's kind of just a better Spotlight. The next one is Homebrew. I know I mentioned this in my other video about Mac, and I don't have a ton to say about it, but it is an amazing package manager. And I wanted to just mention that besides being great for just installing packages, there's another thing that I really like to do for it that I don't see a lot of people use, and that's actually to just kind of manage services. So you can say brew services ls, and you can see all the services that are running under it. So database stuff I like to handle all through Homebrew. So like for example, you can see I have Redis, Postgres, Mongo, and a few other things, Elasticsearch, that I have running. We can see some of them are stopped, so I actually use Homebrew to manage them. So I can say brew services, for example, and I can stop or start. So here I can stop Postgres if I want to, or I can stop, let's say I don't want Cabana running anymore, I can stop that. I can start it up again, or I can restart it. So that's another thing besides just installing stuff that I like to use it for, is to just handle starting and stopping database stuff in like kind of like a central place. So next up, this is an absolute must for me these days, is Flux. So I'm constantly working or coding at night or using my computer in general at night. And so what this does is it puts like this kind of yellow haze over it. What you do is you set your time. So for example, what time you wake up and go to sleep, or maybe it's just sleep, I can't remember, or what time you go to sleep. And then it basically turns your screen kind of like this, what this background color is. It just puts a little haze over it, or a little yellow, that makes it easier on your eyes as you're looking at the computer screen, so it's not bright white. So this is, no matter what operating system I'm on, I want something like this, because it just makes it so much palatable to work on a computer at night. Now I think Mac has something built in like Redshift that makes things red. I haven't actually compared and contrast them, so I'm not sure which one is better. I just have been using Flux for so long that I'm used to it, and I like like that yellow, so I've been using that and really like that. Next up is iTerm 2. So this is a terminal emulator that is really sweet. Again, this is another thing that has a ton of different features tacked onto it, so I'm not going to go through all of them, but some of my favorite ones are it like renders colors really nice, at least the color themes, and I'm a big fan of its tabs. So if I'm not using Tmux, I'm usually using the tabs that it has right here. And then also like it does a little bit more than just simple tabs too. Of course, you can kind of like split the pane and stuff. So being able to do that is pretty nice, and it's just a nice upgrade over regular terminal and Mac. So you can search is another one I use pretty frequently. Let's see if we can find friendly. There we go. So between those things, it's pretty sweet, and I much like it over the regular terminal that it comes with Mac. And then lastly is fish shell. So this is something that's not really Mac specific per se, but it just upgrades my experience with terminal. So I don't know if you guys noticed when I was typing brew, is it kind of like auto-completed stuff? And you'll also notice that it is syntax highlighting here. So those are the two things that are like I love about fish shell is one, auto completion. So as I'm typing, I get that auto completion. And then two is the color. So I get to know the syntax highlighting of my bash commands. So like it's red right now because I have not typed a command that is correct. But if I finish the ls, it's good. Same thing with brew. Like for example, it's going to tell me if this is a command or not. Echo, and then we finish. You can see my go path. It's currently not set. But anyway, that syntax highlighting is super nice. And so I think you can get a similar thing using Z Shell as well with plugins. But Fish Shell works out of the box with this. So usually I'll be installing iTerm and then adding Fish Shell onto it right away. And I love that the combo of the two is super nice. Anyway, those are my top 5 applications, or some of my favorites that I'm going to be using pretty much every day, no matter what I'm working with. I'm going to be hitting up terminal. I'm going to be launching applications. And then if I'm coding at night, we're going to get that nice Flux view that make my eyes not burn. Anyway, I'm curious if you guys have any recommendations for me of your favorites that you think I should check out.